Here's Whitmore. Whitmore has taken the lead. The old man's gonna do it. It's Whitmore in the Breeders Cup Sprint.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Racing Dudes YouTube channel. So we are only a few days away from Breeders Cup 2022, and I am previewing today one of the more anticipated female races on the Saturday card. I am talking about the Breeders Cup Distaff, where we have 8 fillies and mares going 1 1/8 miles around the dirt track at Keeneland. You have the much anticipated duel between stablemates with Nest and Malathaat, but then you throw in some speed. You have some horses with back class like Clairiere, and I think we have ourselves quite the showdown. So I'm going to start off with the number 1, and that is Malathaat. In 2020 to 2021, Malathaat was unstoppable. She went 5 for 7. She was your 3-year-old filly of the year, and she was favored for the distaff last year, but she just couldn't quite catch Marsh Lorraine in the stretch. In 2022, she's raced 5 times. She's won 3 of those and got second in the other 2 races. Both of those she lost to Clairiere back to back. Now, in August, she seemed to get back into her old form. She turned the tables on Clairiere once again. She popped over an 100 buyer. So from that alone, she seems to be in her best shape. And I cannot fail to mention that she has gone 3 for 3 at Keeneland. Now, the number 2 goes to Blue Stripe, who first came over to the United States last November for the distaff, where she got an unimpressive 7th place. But last year's distaff was kind of a cluster. You had everybody chasing after Private Mission, who set unrealistic fractions, and they all seemed to tire in the end. Since then, she has raced a total of 3 times. She most recently won the G1 Clement Hirsch Stakes and got her highest buyer of her career. So we are seeing the best that she's been in the U.S. recently, and her workouts also show that she has been improving. Now, the number 3 is Secret Oath. There was so much buzz around this horse leading up to the Oaks, and where she ended up beating Nest and getting the Kentucky Oaks winner. D. Wayne then put her in the Preakness, where she got 4th place. She finished behind the boys, including early voting and Epicenter. But since then, she has been beat by Nest twice now. She finished 3rd in the Cotillion and has not had a win since the Kentucky Oaks. So to me, it kind of seems like she's hit her peak and the girl maybe is just so tired. But she has been off for about 6 weeks, so she could be primed and ready. She did run a 58-second 5 furlong 2 weeks ago, so you just can't really look past that. But with this horse, it's kind of a toss-up what kind of Secret Oath is going to show up to the races. Now, the number 4 is Clairiere. She has really came into her own and peaked this spring and summer. Last year, she got 4th in the Kentucky Oaks. But she always seemed to be in Malathaat's shadows all last year. Well, 2022 came around, she's really matured and filled out, and since then has won 3 of her last 5. 2 of those wins were ahead of Malathaat. She's gotten over 100 buyer 3 times this year. Her last race wasn't her best, but I think she needed some time off. If you look back at the video of that race, she was very uneasy in the gate. She actually smashed her face in the gate, cut her mouth and tongue, and was bleeding, and then it was just over for her after that. She's been off for about 2 months. She's been working out great, so she could be ready for another big race, but something that makes me a little bit nervous with her is Steve Asmussen is 3 for 58 in stakes races at Keeneland. So that is only a 5% win percentage, so that's not great odds. The number 5 is Awake at Midnight. I am very surprised she's in here, to be honest with you, because her first choice was the filly and mare sprint. I honestly think that she would have had a better shot hitting the board in that race, but she's here, so let's dive in. She has only won 2 races lifetime. One was a maiden, one was an optional claimer. So if that doesn't tell you enough, she also has the lowest speed figure in this entire field. I think that she's going to try and keep up with society. She will put some pace pressure on her, but I just don't see her hitting the board in this race. Now we move on to the number 6, which is Nest. That is Malathaat's stablemate. To me, she is the younger version of Malathaat, and she had the same progression with the Ashland, the Oaks, the Alabama. But to me, she is a bit quicker. She has gone 7 for 10 lifetime and has only been racing the last 14 months. She's gone 3 for her last 3, and each of those wins were over 4 lengths. She got second in the Belmont with the boys, and not to mention she has won 3 out of her 4 at this distance. She has a win at Keeneland, and I really think that this is going to be a big battle with her and some of these older horses. The number 7 is Search Results. She's actually a really good horse, but she always tends to be against horses like Clairiere and Malathaat and cannot seem to beat them. She is 6 for 11 lifetime and has finished in the top 3 every single race. So that's not a terrible track record. Her last race, she got her highest speed rating of 104, so she is trending upward. I just don't know if she is as good as these other horses. She's going to sit behind the speedsters, so this race will be Society and Awake at Midnight, so she could set herself up for a big upset. The last horse is the second from Asmussen, and that is Society. This is the speed of the entire field. She is a very lightly raced 3-year-old, having only raced 6 times and has won 5 of those. She is 1 for 1 at Keeneland. I will mention that she has faced Nest and Secret Oath in the CCA Oaks, and she finished off the board. She did stumble at the start, so that plays into it a little bit, but I'm just not sure if she's as good as we think she is, or she just really hasn't faced much. There is a possibility that she goes gate to wire because she will be the one setting the pace, and I believe that the track will be fast on Saturday. So after all of that said, my top pick this year is going to be a bit controversial because I'm not picking the morning line favorite or her stablemate. I'm going with Clairiere. I think this horse has been the best filly out here this entire summer. The last race, she was agitated, she was bleeding, it just wasn't her race. I think that she's going to sit behind some of these horses and close in the stretch like she always does. People may be upset that I'm not picking the 3 to 5 favorite Nest. I mean, she's good. Don't get me wrong. Don't come at me. But I think that there's a lot of recency bias around her. I think people forget about horses like Clairiere and Malathaat. I mean, I heard today, who has Malathaat beat? Well, you could say the same thing about Nest. I think that this is going to go to more of the experienced horses. So with that, I'm going to play a $20 exacta box with Malathaat and Clairiere. So that is a 1-4 box. And then to get some prices underneath, I'm going to add in Search Results, who always tends to hit the board, and Society in the case that she could go gate to wire and shock everybody. So that is a 1-4-7-8 trifecta box. If you want to play a super, just add in Nest for defense purposes in case she does win. But thank you guys for watching the Racing Dudes YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed so you can get on top of all the Breeders' Cup stuff that we are producing this week. Comment below who you think is going to win this race, and I will see you guys all at the races. Good luck.
RacingDudes.com is your home for the best betting tips and coverage for the 2022 Breeders' Cup. Our wagering guides have cash for thousands. You cannot miss our 2022 Inside Track wagering guide to the Breeders' Cup. So hurry up and subscribe, then go to RacingDudes.com. Check out the free picks for every race, every track across the country, and the Inside Track to the Breeders' Cup wagering guide available soon.